everyone, Wendy, and I'm coming to you from the Dr. Yum Project Kitchen. We are highlighting today a really easy recipe that uses some pantry staples and a piece of equipment that we think is a great addition to any kitchen. And that is the immersion blender. So you might think you wouldn't use something like this very much, but now that I have one, I find that I do use it quite frequently. It's great for making a creamy soup. And if you don't have something like this, of course, you could just use your blender. So we're gonna get started, and I'm gonna show you what's in this soup and how quick it is to come together. So you just need some canned black beans, bell pepper, onion, garlic, some spices, and a few fun toppers. So always with canned beans, you wanna make sure that you drain and rinse them. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do this right over the sink. And you can just get kind of a light sprinkle if you have it on your faucet and run the water straight through it. Toss them around a little bit. These fine mesh strainers come in super handy for things like this. And then you can just set it over a different bowl so that it can continue to drain while you're still doing your other stuff. So next we're gonna get into doing some chopping. So I'm gonna start with the onion. And there's a great video on dryum.org, which we will link for you, an instructional video of how to cut an onion. So I've already washed and dried my bell pepper. So you just want to set it on your board and find a side to just slice right off. And you can see, oh, there's a little bit. I can take that right out. So that's going to happen sometimes. You'll get some produce and there might be some bad parts in it, and it's okay. This is still fine. So I'm just going to go around the outside of the pepper and try and keep that little seed pocket intact. Just like that, and you can even preserve that end. All right, so I'm gonna just wipe this board down a little bit and then get into this garlic. So also, if you don't have fresh garlic, you might have the refrigerated kind. You can use some of that, or even if you don't have any garlic except garlic powder, you could use that as a seasoning. And I'm not gonna worry about doing a fine mince on this garlic blended soup. So I'm gonna save that time and just leave it in chunks to saute. I might do slices. Yeah. Okay, so in this bowl here are the things that are gonna get cooked along with the beans and blended. But also, we always like to have some Yumify items on our dishes. So when your soup is done, you might want to have a fun topper to put on it. So for today, I just have two things that we can prepare right now. I have some scallions. I'm just going to chop one of these guys up for an optional topper. And a fun thing to do with scallions is just, if you cut them on the bias, which means a diagonal, it makes a really pretty topping. So I'll just go down. And of course, these are also called green onions because the greens are my favorite part of them, actually. So go ahead and make sure you get your greens in there. And these will make a really pretty topper for the black bean soup. Kind of mix them up so that you get a little bit of the white and a little bit of the green when you spoon some on your soup. Just put them in a dish so they're ready. I hope you'll be happy with how quickly this soup comes together. It's one of those things that you can come right home from work and have this done and on the table in no time. So for cilantro, I'm just gonna go ahead and pluck some of this off. We have it sitting here in our jar, so it can just go in the fridge and it will last a nice long time. We have an herb video that we'll share with you, but for right now, I'm just gonna wash these. And using a clean dish towel, you can sort of set them out and gently pat them dry. The nice thing about cilantro is it's a very soft herb, and the stems are edible, delicious, and nutritious. So I'm just gonna cut off the very bottom stems, but the rest I'm just gonna kind of leave in this rough chop, and they will add a lot of flavor as well to the top of your soup. Okay, I'm gonna get this area cleaned up. Meet me back over at the stove and we'll put the soup together. All right, so we're over here at the stove. We're gonna be ready to get everything cooking, and you'll be surprised at how quickly this comes together. So this is the recipe on the website. Is a great recipe for maybe 2 large bowl servings for 2 people, or 4 little cup servings for like if you're doing it as a side dish, like you're gonna have taco night and you're gonna have a cup of soup with it. So if you're just a 1 person or a 2 person, this recipe is great. Go ahead and double it, triple it, quadruple it for whatever crowd you need to feed. Or if you're like me and you like leftovers, go ahead and make more for leftovers. Okay, so I'm just put this on a medium heat and get a tiny bit of olive oil in the pan. Once it comes to heat, we'll add in the veg to saute. All right, so this is once again the chopped onion, pepper, garlic, and it's going in. When you are doing a saute on your veg like this, what you're looking for is you're looking for the onion to get translucent. You're smelling to see that you're smelling the garlic getting well cooked, and that those bell peppers soften up so that they will easily blend with the rest of the soup. Keep it moving in the pan. That's probably the secret to success. Don't walk away and do something else. All right, we're ready to add in our beans now. So I have them drained over here. I'm gonna drop them in, and then we have our spices. So it's great to go ahead and pre-measure your spices so you have them ready to drop. But we have a smoked paprika, which gives a really nice flavor, cracked pepper, cumin, and some salt. So that's going right into the pan, as well as the broth. So we have 2 cups of broth here. Now, what broth will do is if there are any little brown bits on the bottom of your pan from your saute, the broth will deglaze that right off, and that's all flavor. So just go ahead. I do it a little bit slowly to deglaze the bottom of the pan, and then just dump it all in. And I can already smell the smokiness of that smoked paprika. Okay, so you're gonna wanna bring this up to heat because we wanna get it boiled. We wanna boil it a little bit. So the soup has come to a boil, and I've been stirring it occasionally. What we're gonna do right now is make a slurry. So this is cornstarch right here, and I'm gonna add 2 teaspoons of water to this. And cornstarch is a thickener. And so what it will do, I got this teeny tiny whisk, what it will do, it'll help to thicken this soup and make it really creamy. So just go ahead and drop the slurry in and give it a stir. The reason why you mix this slurry with a little bit of water before you put it into the pot, if you just dumped the cornstarch in here, you would have little clumps of cornstarch that would be hanging out in your soup. And so making the slurry helps it to incorporate throughout your liquid here and thicken the whole thing versus just clumping right away. Okay, so you can see that this broth is thickening up really well. So now that your soup has thickened up and you've got it down on that low boil, let's go ahead and turn off your heat. And then this is something that really makes this recipe special. It's just a little hint of apple cider vinegar, 1 teaspoon that goes in now. Just adds that acid that really offsets the smokiness of the smoked paprika. It just gives it that extra special something. So 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar is gonna go right in here. And I'll just stir that in. And then we're ready to get our equipment going. So I have the immersion blender plugged in over here. And it just, most of them come in 2 pieces. So just snap it on. Sometimes it doesn't stay locked, so just be careful, especially if it's your first time using it. But it usually has a little trigger button right here that just makes the blender go. So you want to be very safe with this because this is a hot liquid. You're putting this in here. You don't want to be lifting it around. You sort of want to just place it on the bottom of your pot, stop, and then move to another spot. And it will splash a little bit, so you just want to be very careful. So you can see from start to finish how quick the soup came together. And what I wanted to mention is some people really love a smooth soup. So go ahead and blend it to your liking. Some people like a little more texture in their soup. They might like to bite into a little bit of bean or bell pepper. That's fine too. Mine is sort of medium. But I'm gonna go ahead and serve up. And like I said, this would serve a family of 4. And I like both of these toppers, so I'm gonna go ahead and top with cilantro and green onion. But you could also have other toppers. You could do some grated cheese. You could do a little sour cream or Greek yogurt. You could even do some croutons on here. It's still warm, so. I give it a super yum. It's so comforting. So I hope you'll try this soup at home and enjoy making it together.